City Council meeting for February the 10th, and we'll open with a prayer from our city attorney.
Gracious Heavenly Father, we are thankful that we're here again today. And Lord, we are mindful of this brutal weather. We just pray you be with all the citizens, the senior citizens, and protect them through this cold and difficult snow. Father, we thank you for the city workers that go out and work in this weather, do things to try and make our lives better. Be with us now as we go about the business of the city. Hope the decisions be made that will enhance the lives of everyone. And it's in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen. Roll call.
Boyer.
Here.
Branson.
Here.
Hughes. Kimber.
Here.
Smith.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We don't have any correspondence, awards or petitions, no proclamations, citizens' participation. Anybody like to address the council?
I would like to.
Yes, sir. Please state your name.
Madison Benton.
Yes, Mr. Bennett.
I have one question I'd like to ask on these signs out on the roads that says 3 minutes, but the snow gets up to 3 inches or something. Can someone explain what it means?
Well, you mean the parking regulations?
Right.
It meant that all vehicles parked, this is the way the statute reads, and we got the statute to look at tonight because I added up the last time we had this issue was 36 years ago. So to put it in proper perspective, I mean, you're bringing up something that we literally haven't had an issue for 36 years, 1978. So we decided we might look at this thing because back then we didn't have as much problem, I think, with, we did, back then people didn't get snow removed like people want snow removed now. And people stayed at home, schools were called, businesses closed. Now everybody wants to get to work and nothing's ever closed. So we decided to look at it. So this is what it says, Mr. Bennett. It says, all vehicles parked on emergency snow routes must be removed within 2 hours after notice of a traffic emergency has been given at any time 3 or more inches of snow is forecast. That's what the old ordinance said. And I think back then that probably made sense when they passed it, that the city would make a notice, they would put it in the paper, there wasn't any great rush to take care of it that day, and then maybe the paper would show, okay, everybody needs to move your cars so the plows can go straight through and they don't have to move around. That's my memory of it, but I was a child at the time. But so what we're looking at now is we want to change the ordinance to take the notice section out, the emergency out, and just establish snow routes on certain streets. That after 3 inches of snow, we're trying to tell people to use common sense, and maybe it's time to move the cars off of those major streets, which also are listed in the ordinance, which we will post, to allow our plows to come straight through and not do a diagonal and then put cars with more snow around them. So that's what we're trying to resolve this, since this looks as though it's going to be more of a factor in the future than we've ever had. But that's the intent. I believe that was the intent when that ordinance was passed many, many years ago. And now that we are having issues with snow coming more often, more frequent, heavier snows, we decided it was time to look into it. And again, we're asking our residents to use common sense. If they have a car parked out on a major thoroughfare, and everybody knows what the major thoroughfares are, we try to get those routes open. We've got a limited amount of street department employees who are doing one heck of a job. I mean, everybody got to work. If you wanted to go to work, you got to work. The schools were closed for safety reasons for their children, but it wasn't because they couldn't have gotten to school. So I think our employees are doing a wonderful job. They just need to have help, so if they get up and Commissioner Branson will tell you, they normally do this massive work at 3 o'clock in the morning. So if cars are parked on the street, it's gonna be a little difficult for them to go through and do as good a job. And when we have this amount of snow, the problem is, where do you put it?
Well, that's it.
It's not just plowing like the old days when it might only be 3 inches. But if you have 12 inches, and you saw downtown near your shop the other day, we had dump trucks there that we were putting snow into. So our hat is off to our employees. I think they've done a good job. We haven't seen this literally in 30-some years. We're seeing it now. We're gonna come up with bigger and better ways to take care of it, but I think they've done a wonderful job.
Well, it isn't, they did, and I've got to say, they've done a good job throughout the town. I didn't bring this up for that reason. But I did, the neighbor asked me about the car parked out there, the snow was pushed up. It was hard for her family to come in, I share a driveway, it's hard for their family to come in and out of the driveway, and it was hard for me too. So I called to see if something could be done about moving the car, and they said no, because the city ordinance said it was only in case of emergency that the vehicle could be removed.
Where was that?
It was right out in front of my place, 218 East Madison.
Your residence.
Right.
We tried to make contact with the owner, which we were unable to do. Then we just explained that we couldn't tow it. We didn't have the legal grounds to hook onto it and pull it out of there. So we attempted to get owner's contact, which they did not get that day.
But they did move it today, somebody did.
Right. Well, we're trying to make it easier for law enforcement. In fact, really under the old ordinance, all that we needed to have done would have been for Mr. Rupp to say that this was a notice. Then the law.
Declare a snow emergency, right?
Yeah, all you have to do is get on the phone and say, the notice is out. And then your men could have done the towing. So we don't want to have that issue rise again, but we also want neighbors to be good with other neighbors, and hopefully everybody will use some common sense, and we can help neighbors also. If, once they get the car in the snow route and we go around it and through it, and whatever we're doing with the snow, sometimes it's even harder to move the car at that point, so we're going to try to help as much as we can as well.
And I have another question on parking. Down by the shop, I parked there and checked my tires because to get the thing, and I was told to move the car. Squad car pulled up and told me to move the car, which I moved it, the truck. But I find now that the show can park there and go to the show, but nobody says anything to them.
You mean patrons go to the show, a 2-hour show, and they don't say anything about it?
Nobody says anything about.
Well, isn't that kind of a common sense kind of thing? If they're going to a 2-hour show, you think they shouldn't be able to park there, I take it then?
It's in a yellow zone.
A yellow zone?
Yeah, right where I was checking my tires, and I was told that I should not park there because I'm.
Well, neither should if it's a yellow zone, neither should the people going to the
Nobody
movies,
should be
but.
parking there.
But nobody's ever said anything to them.
Well, I don't know
never
that
see
tickets haven't
anybody-
been written.
Huh?
I don't know that tickets haven't been written to those people, though.
Right. I think it's probably, if our officers see somebody parked on a yellow, no matter who it is, they're going to be asking to move it, or they're going to get a ticket.
Yeah.
I think that's what you do.
The
Yep.
last 3 weeks, there's been cars parked there every night. Not just, it's room for 3 cars, and I've seen the size 5 cars parked along there. And I'm just saying, I parked there for 5 minutes and was told to move.
Why would we
Which I
have a
moved.
yellow area for 5 cars? I mean, do we have an area that large up there that's yellow? You're talking,
I'm talking about there's room for 3 cars to park in there and be legal. And there's been as high as 5 cars parked in there for the show, and nobody's.
I don't know that nobody did anything, Mr. Bennett, I mean,
I sit up there in my shop and watch.
okay.
For 2 hours in the afternoon, there's nothing been done.
You're saying 2 cars are parked illegally?
Yeah. I'm just saying, what is fair and why I moved mine should be the same thing as the others.
Well, I don't disagree with that.
Well, then I had the thing that the ordinance came out, and I don't know if anything's been done to the man across the tracks there with his stuff sticking out in the front of his shop. And it was a big issue on the removing the stuff in front of the shops.
That process for abatement's already been started.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Any other citizens' participation? If not, I have the consent agenda, which has been moved by Commissioner Hughes, seconded by Commissioner Boyer, that we approve the minutes of January the 27th, 2014 regular meeting. Approval of bills to be paid $87,405.09 and salaries of $130,450.57. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Boyer?
Yes.
Branson?
Yes.
Hughes?
Yes.
Kimber?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes. Under ordinances, I have an ordinance for us to consider amending Chapter 72, parking violations, removal of parked vehicles. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Paris, Chapter 72, parking regulations, removal of parked vehicles be amended to read as follows. All vehicles parked on snow routes must be removed at any time 3 or more inches of snow is forecasted. Any vehicle parked on a snow route after this period of time may be removed or caused to be removed by a police officer to the nearest garage or other place of safety, and the vehicle may not be recovered until the towing and any storage charges are paid. This has been moved by Commissioner Boyer, seconded by Commissioner Hughes. Any further discussion? What we're doing here is we're looking at these ordinances as times change. We're removing the words "within 2 hours after notice of a traffic emergency has been given." That will be out. So it'll just say that vehicles parked on a snow route must be removed at any time 3 or more inches of snow is forecasted. Any vehicle parked on a snow route, not an emergency route, but a snow route. Those snow routes are found in our ordinance, and we will make sure that they get into the webpage so people can see, but they are under, I believe, Chapter 72, or Chapter 75, Schedule 2. And so the routes are there. We also want to send letters to the residents that are along that route. So we want everybody to understand what the change is. And we're always asking for use common sense. If there is a forecast of 10 inches of snow, that's a good time to keep your cars off of those routes and let our people do their job. And we'll all work together. I'm also going to say that the phrase used is "may be removed." That doesn't mean "shall be removed." So we're going to work with the residents. We're going to make sure if it's a hardship, we all want to get through these storms together. But this way, the police will have a little more leeway in trying to work with people on the routes. We'll be able to explain, we'll have the signs up, and then hopefully everybody will understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Boyer?
Yes.
Branson?
Yes.
Hughes?
Yes.
Kimber?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes. Under Commissioners' reports, I'm making a motion that, the council authorize a request for proposals for the splash pad or splash park. The city of Paris, Illinois would be seeking bids from qualified contractors to provide for design services, labor, materials, and equipment necessary to complete the installation of the multi-feature splash pad appropriate for ages 12 and under. We are going to submit these bids and seek the bids by Friday, March the 14th, 2014. As usual, we'll put in that the city of Paris reserves the right to waive technicalities and to reject or refuse any and all bid proposals. That's my motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Might indicate that the fundraising is going very well, and hope that we'll have all of the money, that the fundraisers will have all of their money in hand by March 1. Roll call.
Boyer?
Yes.
Branson?
Yes.
Hughes?
Yes.
Kemper?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes. I'm also making a motion to authorize emergency repairs to the police station roof at a cost of $5,000. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We've had some issues over the storm with the roof on the back of the police station. It is no longer a viable roof. So we're going to have to do some emergency repairs to take care of the issue in the back of the police station. Roll call.
Boyer?
Yes.
Branson?
Yes.
Hughes?
Yes.
Kemper?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes. That's it for me. Commissioner Boyer.
Thank you, Mayor. I have 2 or 3 items here. One is information. The fire department is planning to purchase 2 pet oxygen masks, and there were private donations that are paying for that. And I do have one question for the chief. Brian, are we going to have on all 3 pumpers? What have we got now? And we
Right now, we got 1 set, and we're actually gonna be getting 4. They donated enough to get 4 complete sets. So we'll have it on all of our engines, all of our equipment going out.
all the front engines, even our district.
Yeah, we're even 1 for the district. That way we don't have to
Because
worry.
there's animals out there too.
Yep. Yeah, we figured we'd go this way. That way, if we would happen to be in a truck that didn't have it, then it,
Okay.
wouldn't be fair.
And that's all I have on that
Okay.
subject. My next thing is I'm going to make a motion that we approve a 2% list, what we call a 2% list. And the firemen work this list up, and then it has to be okayed by the council, but it's money that goes into a fund, and they're the ones that decide what it's spent for. And if you have a list here, if there's any questions, I'll be glad to answer it. If I can't, Brian will. But everything to me is very sensible in what they want to purchase here. And most of it goes back to equipment that we may have to purchase it. If they didn't, we don't have the money right now to do all of this. So I think it's a very good list. So I'm going to make a motion.
I have one question. Again, I can't remember, where does that money come from, that 2% list?
That's Florida insurance companies. They pay 2% back to the fire department. It's a 2%. Out-of-state insurance companies that sell insurance here, they pay 2% back. That's, not everybody has that. Only certain cities, I believe, Paul, you said, had applied for
Yeah,
it,
the
and we
state-
started back a few years ago.
The state has a statute that allows communities to pass an ordinance, which we've passed, to collect that money.
Yeah, it works out really well.
Yeah.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Because truly, the equipment that they're buying, and these are, the firemen are the ones that come up with what they want to buy, and they're the ones that know what they need. And in this case, it's going to be about $13,000 equipment, a little over 13,000. The available funds are a little over 13, and it's worked out really well.
Yeah, they have a lot on this list that we thought maybe we might have to buy bedding, but Brian got a grant for bedding. I think it's $5,000 grant, wasn't it, Brian, around that for
Yeah, it was all new, 5 new mattresses. We just had to go pick them up in Kentucky. So they were
So that gives us quite a bit of money to spend on stuff here that we need more.
Any further discussion? Roll call?
Boyer,
Yes.
Branson.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Kemper.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes. Okay, and the last motion I'm gonna make here, and then I'll turn it over to somebody else, is we'd like to purchase a generator for our training facility out here. With this snow and a lot of different things that's happened here lately, we've been kind of scared that we don't have any place to put people to keep them warm. We're not gonna be able to get everybody in there, but we could get a fair amount. We have an upstairs, we have a full kitchen, we have a bathroom out there and restroom facilities, and we can move that older truck out and drain it, and we have a whole truck room that we could keep people warm in should that happen. So I'm gonna make a motion that $4,684.95 for the generator.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? Roll call?
Boyer,
Yes,
Branson. Hughes.
Yes.
Kemper.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
that's all I have tonight, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Branson?
I have one thing I want to bring up, and I'll direct this to Bridget if I may. Bridget, can you get me a copy of the snow routes? I don't think there's that many, but I'd like to have a copy.
Yep.
Thank you. Number one, I have a motion to approve pay estimate number 2 to Boyd's Contractors for the Madison Street project in the amount of $17,289.37, and this money comes from motor fuel tax funds.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call?
Boyer,
Yes.
Branson.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Kemper.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Commissioner Hughes.
Nothing.
Okay. Commissioner Kemper?
Yes, Your Honor. I have a motion to approve pay estimate to Boyd's Contractors for Madison Street project in the amount of $1,593.66 for repair of water shut-off valve and some sewer problems we had to take care of as we went through there.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Roll call?
Boyer,
Yes.
Branson.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Kemper.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Second one, I have a motion to approve change order number 4 for the Ike project, an increase of $835.60 to Kiefer Brothers.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call?
Boyer,
Yes.
Branson.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Kemper.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Finally, I have a motion to approve a final pay estimate to Kiefer Brothers for the Ike project in the amount of $14,000.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Roll call?
Boyer,
Yes.
Branson.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Kemper.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Administrator?
I don't have anything else, Your Honor.
Mr. City Attorney?
We'll be going to court tomorrow, getting condemnation order on the property at 516 South Boston.
Any other reports? On behalf of the council, we do want to make sure that the public is aware of how much we are in gratitude to our city employees over the last month and a half. The storm has really put our community, just like all other communities around, it opens our eyes to what Mother Nature can do. And we've been very fortunate that our people work extremely hard with limited resources, limited numbers of people to do it. And I think they've done a wonderful job. Checking with other cities around, nobody did any better than we did as far as getting people, again, what I said earlier, to work, getting people to their destinations, to their doctors, to whatever they had to do. You were able to do it. And so for that, all of us have said over and over again how fortunate we are to have from the top down, from everybody here and all the people out on the streets and everywhere. So,
Amen.
yeah.
We have fantastic cooperation between departments.
That's right. That's one
Yes.
thing that we have noticed, that we have a great relationship with all of our departments now.
So that's a good thing.
It's great,
Yes, it is.
because one department can't do it anymore. You have to have all, so you're right, Commissioner.
That pile of snow that they put out there, it may be melted by June, maybe.
Nice. Couple of high mountains out there. Okay, I have an adjournment which has been moved.
Can we do open?
Oh, old business, yes.
Paul, have we ever checked into the economic development for that city web page or anything? Have we talked about that?
I'm working on it, Harry. Terry Laughlin's made a map for me of, property owners on the square. So I'm working on that and trying to figure out what it is we want on the website.
You know, as far as our city's web designer, you talked with him and everything then, and we can
Well-
get that done or what? I mean, is there gonna be a major cost in that or something, or not? Do we know yet?
No. It depends on if we're just gonna have it just kind of brought up to speed, or are we gonna redesign it? You know, that's kind of, if we're gonna go for a whole redesign, I don't know how much money I wanna spend on just fixing
Yeah. Well, you know,
specific parts on it, the one we have.
well, and personally, I don't care. I just wanna be sure that we have a friendly website that, you know,
Mhm.
after that downtown analysis that we had done, that we can, you know, anybody that's gonna be looking at our web page, we can help them, direct them to places where they need to be. So in case they wanna look for a building downtown, if they wanna know some information, it's there for them, you know.
Okay. Any other old business? Any new business? I have an adjournment moved by Commissioner Boyer, seconded by Commissioner Hughes. Roll call.
Boyer,
Yes.
Branson,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Kemper, Smith.
Yes. Remind everybody that our next pre-meeting is March the 5th, 4 o'clock, Wednesday, here at City, what is it? Oh, February, I'm bypassing February.
Jeez.
February the
It's going
19th.
fast enough.
And then our next regular meeting will be February the 24th. Our public is invited, once you all come, thank you.